All right, so I'm here with Scott Wegener,
Hi.
and there's actually another E in there somewhere,
There is hidden.
but it's easier to go with the way he says it, so that's what we'll do. He is the co-creator and artist for Atomic Robo, a robot wielding a giant missile, or bomb, as you can see in this picture. My girlfriend loved it just because the robot had slanty eyes, and she's got like an Asian fetish, I guess.
Really?
I know, right? I'm Jewish. I mean, you never could tell. But I actually thought this was one of the few posters that actually caught my eye right away.
Cool.
Because I dig robots.
They're hard not to. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Now, let me ask you, how did you get into illustration drawing?
Professionally or just in general?
In general and then professional.
Okay. Well, as a kid, I was always drawing. The thing that really did it for me, though, was in grade school. I grew up on Staten Island in New York, and one day a week, more than half the class would leave an hour or two early to school to either go to CCD, which is like Catholic religious school, or to go to JCC, the Jewish religious school. The rest of us were kind of left with nothing to do, and I had a friend, and we would just have draw-off, basically, where we would each draw a big robot, and then kind of go back and forth with, okay, well, he would beat you because of this, and I would beat you because of that. So it was like this kind of like...
Who ended up winning in the end?
I don't remember. I can't remember either way. I'll just lie and say I always won. Yeah.
Well, does he draw professionally right now?
I don't even know where he lives now. So this is like.
Well, then we'll just assume you won.
I must have won.
Because you have Atomic Robo.
Right. He's probably a neurosurgeon or something, but I still win. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as drawing robots goes.
Yes.
Now, how did you get into doing this professionally?
Totally by accident.
Whoa.
I was working in the aviation industry as a flight instructor, and a friend of mine in Germany, we were both nerds, and we were always talking via instant message and whatnot, and he was trying to get into comics. I hadn't read a comic in 15 years, really, except for the occasional thing that really caught my eye and I picked up, but I'd never been to a convention or anything like that. And he badgered me, and finally talked me into doing a pinup for an anthology which he was putting together, a very, very indie thing. And then he badgered me into doing a 3 or 4 page story for that. And it just sort of snowballed. The guy who wrote the story that appeared in front of the one I illustrated, he happened to be a writer for Marvel and was looking to do some independent stuff. And then we hooked up, and then it's kind of, I was really looking for a change. I didn't like my job at all and really wanted a creative outlet. So I took a chance and said, let's see if I can amass 6 to 8 months worth of solid freelance work and my wife and I took a look at our life and said, all right, what's the absolute bare minimum we need to survive? Can we do this? So I built up that repertoire. It took about 9 months to build up enough work and just quit my job and been doing it ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, almost had to go back to real jobs at one point about 2 years ago.
Almost.
I was literally filling out, didn't know what I was going to do. I was literally filling out like a temporary postal employee kind of thing for the holidays. And then Marvel Comics called and like, yeah, we need someone to do a couple of fill-in issues on Punisher War Journal, and we thought you'd be great. I was like, oh, Jesus, all right, great, sweet.
I don't have to be a mailman.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how did you come up with the idea for Atomic Robo?
Well, the basic idea of Robo started with Brian Clevenger, the writer. He's been in one form or another. He's been kicking it around in his head for 10 years, roughly. Started, but very different at the beginning. It was about a little kid scientist who built Robo and lived in this kind of like George Jetson-y future world kind of thing. And just as he grew as a writer, he just kind of kept changing it until it roughly resembled what you see in the comics. He had no visuals to go with it, but in his head he had a clue. And it had just, when I came on board, it was just a matter of kind of fine-tuning it, because you pick up so much debris over the years of doing that. And so I was able to look at it and say, okay, here at the core you got this awesome thing that I would love to develop with you, but all this shit around the outside we got to get rid of. It just kind of clutters it up. So I came in kind of late to the project from that perspective anyway. Spent a couple of weeks trying to design the robot to evoke a feel, and I just happened to do this one sketch. I was having a real hard time with the idea of a robot who wore clothes, because I like to draw really big, clunky, humanoid, but they would never fit into pants and a t-shirt kind of robots.
Yeah.
And I just happened to do them in the cargo pants with the old army boots on, and it just kind of worked. Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of if you took Wally
Yeah.
and a Transformer.
Just any old Transformer?
I'm gonna go with Bumblebee.
Okay.
And
It's a cute factor. You're
yes,
pulling out. Yeah.
and then Ultraman.
Ultraman, yeah, nice.
Those three dudes got together and had a baby. This is what I think it might look like, minus the giant bomb. So how long have you been doing this professionally?
Let's see, Robo came out in October of 2007, so it's been exactly 2 years since this book came out. So 2.5 years?
2.5 years?
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed it the whole way?
Most of the way, yeah.
Minus the part where you almost turned into a
Minus
mailman.
that part, yeah. You know, it's definitely it's still a struggle now. Not like it was initially, but yeah, there are parts of it that are a drag still, and we're still trying to build the book up and blah blah blah. But yeah, day to day, I absolutely love it. No
Awesome.
regrets. I'd do it again in a second. And my wife agrees as well. You know, our marriage is much better now because I'm not hating my job every day.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask you a question that I'm sure you've been asked before.
Okay.
But I'm going to put a twist on it. The question being, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in this industry? However, you get to pick the one piece of advice that you think is most important.
Don't.
Don't. Okay, no competition.
No competition. I don't
Scott
want
does
it.
not need the competition.
No. You have. It has to be a lifestyle choice, not a career choice, because literally Brian and I eat, sleep, and breathe this book. We work 70 to 80 hours a week on it, and we enjoy doing that. You know, it doesn't phase us a bit. If you don't love that much, if you're talking about independent comics, making your own comic, if you don't love it like that, you're not going to make it. That's it, nothing. And a lot of people start to do comics, but well, the season finale of Lost is on, I have to watch that, or you know, my WoW guild is going on a raid. It's like, well, you know what? All right, great, go do your raid. But
The fact that you just made a WoW reference actually, I think, will make a lot of members on my website very happy.
yeah, you got to give that stuff up because you know when you start out, chances are real good you're going to have a full-time job and be doing this. So if you don't sit down and say, all right, every night from 7 o'clock to 10:30 p.m. I will work on this book, you won't get it. You'll never get it done, and then it gets frustrating because you're not making any progress. And you know, I'm sure dozens of awesome books die a painful, slow death like that every year because the people working on it don't have the discipline to make those choices.
Guys, hear that? Scott Wegener has iron willpower.
Iron willpower. Unless it comes candy, I'm no good with that. I can't resist candy.
Really?
Yeah.
Got a sweet tooth.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Here's a question. How many cavities have you had in your life?
I don't actually know. Probably about 4 or 5 as a kid.
Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah, and then I had another 3 removed last year.
4 or 5 from the ages of 0 to 18.
Well, you're talking the years when I had insurance and then not insurance and then insurance again, and you know. So.
And then 3 in a year. Because I had insurance, so I could just go eat all the candy I wanted.
Exactly, yeah. Well,
Thank you, sir.
They were probably there already.
Wonderful Matt just brought me a Pepsi. Thank you very much.